Three, two, one. We got action, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ah, listen. I don't know why I've been putting off this conversation for a minute, but hey, I'm not gonna put it off any longer. I would like to welcome you, beautiful people, to Married Men Episode 1. Today is going to be the pilot episode. So basically, I'm going to talk around a few topics. Nothing long. I'm not going to keep you long, but I'm going to talk around a few topics. But my purpose of this, I guess, discussion is to try to figure out why we keep scaring everybody away to get married. And we always doing we doing it with a whole bunch of podcasts with a whole bunch of unqualified people talking, if I do say so myself. And what I mean by unqualified, so listen, I ain't gonna everybody got their own opinion, so I'm not gonna be the one to say your opinion is better than mine is better than yours. But why are we listening to people that ain't even married? That blows my mind. So I'm most definitely going to start this weekly discussion. I'm gonna be here every Sunday that I can remember to be here. So I'm gonna be here every Sunday. I'm gonna be having on guests. My guests gonna be, guess what? Married men, and we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. We're gonna get into the hard facts. We're gonna get into the what scares them to what motivates them to keep trying. We're gonna get into the conversation of, sometimes, this it's gonna be a place too where men could just kind of come and vent too. Sometimes you need to vent. I might not be friends with your wife. So if you want to go get something off your chest, you can get it off your chest. And then another thing too, I want to be able for it to be a place where men can like talk and speak freely, because I think a lot of times it's a big communication gap, and that communication gap begins with us BSing, or if the kids say begins with us capping. So if we don't talk to each other, then we want to hold stuff in, and then we don't want to talk about it with our male friends who probably not married. Then who we gonna talk to it about? And who we gonna talk to? Who we gonna talk to? Who we gonna talk about it with? Who? So without further ado, we're gonna just jump right into this. And like I said, this one today is gonna be the pilot. I really want to just get this out here. I want to get that message out there. I want to get people to kind of share it, so then I can encourage more men to come on to the platform and speak on their behalf and speak on, like I said, various topics. So going out in the future, I'm gonna have several talking points, and then I'm gonna end probably with a guest speaker, or I might just bring the guest speaker on from the beginning, just to kind of give y'all a heads up. But like I said, today we just gonna get it started, and then kind of just talk around it and kind of go from there. So, how in the world have I been married 12 years? Man, how in the world have I been married 12 years? 12 years. Listen, when I tell you that I read and heard somewhere, when I tell you that marriage is like it's a job, that's the truth fact that I can never hear, that I ever heard in my life. It is most definitely a job. It's something that you got to work on, work on, work on. It's not, everybody always sees the, oh, we finna get married and the wedding is pretty, and then the honeymoon is even prettier, and then we have our first kid, everything is peaches and creams. Well, it don't start till after that. The marriage don't start till after that. All that little honeymoon phase, that little beginning, I don't know what that is. but the real marriage, it don't start until after that. And so a lot of times, a lot of people be thinking like, I guess one of the biggest questions I would want to ask people that, even tuned in, what kind of fears would you have as far as getting married, or something that you heard somebody talk about? And I'll go ahead and talk about my fears in the beginning. So when I got married, my biggest fear was I couldn't mess around with nobody else for the rest of my life. And see, that's why I said this is gonna be all truth. This ain't, hey, we ain't sugarcoat nothing. That was gonna be my biggest fear. And the crazy part about that wasn't a big enough fear to make me not want to do it. But it was a concern, just like it's going to be a concern with a lot of people. Like a lot of men say, you know what? I can't envision myself being with one person for the rest of my life, until death. But I'm here to tell you there's so much glory in that. And there's just so much, I guess, pride, ownership whenever you do take that step, that for me, yeah, I couldn't second guess it ever again in my life. I promise you, I'll do it again over and over and over and over again. And one of the main reasons for me Let's talk about namesake. A lot of men out there saying, "Oh, I ain't gonna get married. I ain't gonna get married. I ain't gonna get married." Oh, okay. Well, if you're the last male in the family with that last name, then that last name gonna die with you. A lot of times y'all don't think about that. Y'all don't think about your legacy. You don't think about your legacy. You don't think about your namesake. You don't think about your family namesake. When I think about my last name, Lee, even from my family, my grandmother had 18 kids and my mama was the baby. So therefore, guess who is the baby grandchild? I guess, so to speak. I think I am the baby grandchild. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So I'm the baby grandchild. So of course, is it. If I chose not to go out there and have no more Lees, it was done with the Lees. At least this generation or this version of it. But we're gonna live on because we got little Kason. And then we got little Aiden. Well, Kason is the last one, so that's why we're gonna live on. Then we got little Aiden, and then we got Jalen. So as long as they do their thing, then it's gonna continue to move on. So a lot of times, why as men will we be so worried and concerned by not to extend that legacy? I see a lot of people listening to podcasts, and like the first thing that everybody says is, "Oh, well, let's talk about the big argument about when y'all be listening to these little podcasts. Let's talk about this big argument." So men always say, "Well, these women don't have new values nowadays. They don't have the old school values, about cooking and cleaning. And since they ain't cooking and cleaning, I don't want to be with them." And then you got the women arguing, saying, "Well, I work now, so unlike your mama wasn't working, and so therefore I ain't cooking and cleaning and working." Y'all got to get out of that. I swear we got to stop that. How is that a legit argument? I can't understand how is that a legit argument. How in the world do y'all really feel like that'll be enough or be a reason why I wouldn't want to get a wife one day to settle down, get married, have kids, have a family? How is that possible? When y'all just talking about some regularly duties, some of y'all be like, "I'm the best worker at my job and I ain't get a raise." Are you really? You can't possibly be the best worker at your job and the hardest worker at your job, and you too scared to come home and wash some dishes. That's men and women. I'm talking to you both. So, you can't be I could do anything I really want to do. But y'all still arguing about house chores. I don't understand. I can't understand that for the life of me. Like, why in the world are we arguing about house chores? And we sitting here talking about we want to work on something, or we want something to be, I guess the best at it. But we can't be the best at it. How is that possible? How is that possible? And then what's another big argument that I hear on let me see. What's another big argument that I hear on social media? Well, you know what? I ain't gonna dance around the argument, but I'm gonna dance around one of the big faboos, the scary things. So when y'all hear about married men and married men that talk bad about it, about getting married, the first thing that they bring up is the sex change. And yes, I will agree. The frequency does slow down, but a lot of times y'all have to understand why does the frequency slow down more so than did it or why did it not. You gotta take a deep dive into that. And so let's talk about that for a little sec. I'm gonna talk about that, and then I'm probably gonna end it, because like I said, I just want to do an intro, and then as we go on in the future, I'm gonna be interviewing men and married men and have that conversation. Appreciate that, babe. What's this? You should have gave me a napkin or something. And so let's talk about the sex. A lot of y'all scared of that. So first thing that you hear about when y'all hear a man to say, "Oh man, I ain't finna I heard my homeboy got married and he said they don't have sex at all." It has a lot to do with each situation, but it honestly has a lot to do with the kids and the working. And that's a lot of things. That's a lot. A lot of times we don't really consider that. A lot of times we don't think about that. So before we get on here and just for you, how you listening to people saying, "Oh man, you ain't gonna never have sex ever again because your wife ain't gonna never do it to you." Listen, your wife is gonna do it to you. If you married her, you gotta think about it now. If you marry somebody that wasn't frisky, then hey, listen, you don't know what your expectation was. But if you marry somebody, then y'all was doing it a lot, and then it just came to a halt. You gotta have a conversation to figure out why it came to a stop. So one of the biggest reasons in my household that I'm gonna speak about is, so when the marriage, so when we first got married, everything was the same. Then we had the first kid, everything was the same. So it was a little bit small decline, but it was typically the same. When we had that second kid, everything changed. So for us, a lot of times, so for me going into the situation, I thought that no matter what, once you get married, it's gonna be every day, whatever, 2, 3 times a day. It's gonna be like it was when y'all was well, at old folks say when y'all was courting, when y'all was courting. But that's not the case when you're thinking about that. You got a full-time job between the two, and you having kids, which is another full-time job between the two. Like when women say that they're tired, they really are tired. Now I couldn't see why they would be tired. From the aspect of a man, we feel like we doing most of the work anyway. But at the end of the day, you still gotta have the energy, and you gotta have the energy level to be able to say, you know what, I'm ready to go have some fun. And you're not thinking about that when you're single. When you're single, you ain't got no kids like that. When you're single and you dating like that, somebody watching the kids, you got a lot of free time, a lot of times. And then, especially if you don't have any children, you're not even taking that in consideration. So I really want y'all to stop bashing that part of it, saying that, or stop being afraid of that part when you're thinking about sex and you say, well, I hear a lot of people talk about how they ain't having no sex. Well, it has to be a reason to that. And the biggest thing is have a conversation. So like it's one thing to say, it's one thing to be the guy to say, my wife ain't doing it as much. And then you get mad and then you want to go out and cheat. But it's another thing to say, my wife ain't doing as much. Let me bring her into this conversation. Let me set her down at the table and ask her what's going on. Because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, you can come to some type of conclusion. So let's just say it's the latter where she says, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Okay, what are you doing to help her? That's a valid question. What are you doing to help out in the house? Because for me, I wasn't doing anything, but I was doing a lot of complaining when we was having our little troubles. And I'm gonna tell you, I seen a real quick turnaround when I started helping out with the chores. And that goes back to like why I don't see why most men would say, it's a woman's job or it's a whoever job. It's a team job, first of all. But I am on that part of the scope that for the women that say I ain't doing it, then you the type that you don't need to be getting married in the first place. Because if you're gonna bring all that negativity in a relationship before it even gets started, then you can stay on the outside. You know what I'm talking about? So before you do all that, if you're gonna bring all that negativity in there before you get started, you can stay right there because it's a team effort. And so I remember when we used to have a lot of conversations about, well, I cooked more than you this week, or I cleaned more than you, or I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. And I promise you, during that time, that's when we didn't move at all in our relationship. We didn't move at all in our relationship. We didn't. We had more issues, more troubles because we was trying to compare, who was doing the most. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Let me copy this and send this in Messenger. Y'all give me 1 second. And so we were, hold on. Here we go. Boom. Page. There we go. Well, I'm quick with that now. All right, I'm back. And so we were having this conversation daily. And so we were having this conversation daily. It was more so like we was comparing who's the best. And I promise you, things didn't get better till we got out of that. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I felt like I was winning. And that's the male mentality. I'm like, man, if I'm helping out with anything, that means I'm winning. Because I'm helping out with the cooking, that means I'm winning. If I'm helping out with the cleaning, that means I'm winning. Because that means that's something else that you're not doing. Especially at that point in time in our life, I was making twice as much as money. So I was like, hold on, I'm working twice as hard and making twice as much as money. So like, why am I still have to do these things? And when you have that simple mindset, and when I mean simple, I mean really simple. When you have that simple mindset, you're not gonna be able to grow as a couple. It's impossible to grow as a couple. All right, so let me go back to that. So I did get off the little tangent. Let me go back to that sex part. So when we still talking about, so let me bounce back to the sex. When we talking about having this conversation, having that discussion, you really got to consider asking yourself, what are you doing to help out, or what are you not doing? What are you? So if you say, well, I'm a guy, She ain't had sex with me all week. Okay, what did you do all that week? That week that she chose not to have sex with you. You know what was going on. So you gotta stand to the side sometimes and be on the outside looking in and say, what could I have done differently to help lighten that load? And then if you did lighten that load, you know, how much help would you think that would have helped create it in the household? So let's say if you lighten that load and then something still didn't happen. Okay, that's good, but I doubt that that'll go unappreciated. And a lot of times as men, first thing, we do get upset about is this appreciation factor. Then you got to ask yourself, why are you doing it again? Because they know now. So then if you went in and you just bust the suds one time on a Monday and you mad y'all ain't do nothing on the Friday and you be like, why helped you wash the dishes? Remember Monday? That's not going to cut it. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to go back to yourself and say, really? Did I just really say that? Like the only reason I really helped you help wash dishes was so we could do something Friday. Like when y'all start helping each other effortlessly and start working as a team effortlessly, I promise you, that energy level that she swear that she don't have, it's gonna come back around. That appreciation that you swear you're not getting, it's gonna come back around. But it does take two. It does take two. So don't think this is gonna be a situation where I'm gonna call myself trying to teach and just educate men. This is gonna be like the type of discussion where we're gonna vent. You may have some questions and concerns. I'm gonna be able to answer those questions and concerns and give you my opinion and voice my opinion on that. But women do need to hold they other end of the candle too as well. But as a male, you gotta hold them accountable. And I think honestly, we're not doing it. Hold on. All right, this combo is about to hit some people. Yeah, it is. It is, Camp. It's gonna hit some people. And as an intro conversation, this intro might not hit people, but I can guarantee you this Sunday conversation is gonna really tap on some people, and it's gonna tap on some women, because I really want to be able to not only educate the men, but educate the women too as well about where y'all failing. Because women, y'all failing too. So, and not everybody, of course, but for the ones that are failing, wouldn't you rather know what men are thinking? Wouldn't you rather know what's ticking on inside their brain? Like get a little edge, have a little secret weapon, especially if you know what that man is thinking. So when we have men on here having these discussions, that's why I want men to be on here and be able to talk freely, because I want them to tell me what's going right, what's going wrong, what's sexy in a relationship, what's ugly in a relationship, because women need to hear this also, so then they can improve on what they need to do, and men need to hear it so they can get better as mates. And so, and that's right, especially the accountability piece. And so let me go back. Let me go back to another argument that people talk about on social media. That's what I'm gonna go to. So I'm gonna move forward to that. Because like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on any one topic, because we're gonna revisit those topics when I have a lot of guest speakers. So one topic that I remember was paying the bills. Oh my God. This 50-50 argument is getting out of control. I swear to God, it's getting out of control. I can't, one of these days, I'm going to write down how we pay our bills. But as of right now, the only thing I can tell y'all is Tasha pay all the bills. That's all I can tell y'all. That's all I can tell you. I have no clue how these bills get paid. I just know my wife paid every last one of them. And we don't have a joint account. That's all I know. And she doesn't make enough money to pay all the bills by herself. So how can it happen? Well, I'm going to tell you how that happens in our household. So every household is going to be different. So for us, when Tasha gets paid, she pays whatever bills that she has set up with her automatic draft out of her account. Then she'll come to me and let me know exactly how much more money she needs for the rest of the bills, however that may need. I just transfer the money over there to her. She still got the right to transfer it herself, because she know my logins to everything. So it's not like we hide anything. But I'll move the money over. She'll say I need X amount of dollars, and I'll move that money over. And then pretty much at the end of the month, she'll be close to zeroing out in her account, and never once does she complain about it. Never once does she argue about it. Never once does she be like, I got to have my money. I got to have this. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we're married. And my wife knows that if she wants anything, she comes back to the well to get it. And I won't say no. There's no situation like we got to get out of we got to get out of parenting our spouses. And we got to transition from being our spouse's parents to just being our spouse's spouse. And I remember when we first got married, I was like, you don't need this, you don't need that, yada, yada, this and yada, yada, that. And that still was in the time of us being unhappy about a lot of other stuff. But in between me parenting my wife back then, I could see now how sad that made her, because I'm sitting here trying to tell her what she don't need and what she don't need to do and what she don't. She a grown ass woman. She know what she need to get and what she don't need. Like, as a couple, it was better for us to have a conversation about money management versus me telling her what she don't need to do. It went over a whole lot better. A whole lot better. Hey, honey, before you go out and just do yada yada yada, we got this coming up, or we got this bill coming up next month. I only think this check going to be X amount of dollars. Let's make sure we think about that and prepare for that. That's an easier conversation than telling somebody what they not going to do and telling somebody what they don't need to do. And that's where we drop the ball at. And so, like, when y'all get on there, y'all be listening to the podcast, and the podcast be like, man, we ain't going 50-50. I ain't going to even be in no relationship if I got to do 50-50. A man need to do all of it. That's the woman. That's a deep woman voice. Man got to pay all of it. Like, it blows my mind when y'all be like, on one end, y'all want a traditional male to do it all. And then on the other end, y'all don't want to be a traditional wife to do the cooking and the cleaning. Like, that blows my mind. And once again, that's just pure negativity that you bringing into the relationship that's not needed. And that's back to that I mentality. And that's what we got to get out of. Like, there's no such a thing as when you think about why we got to go 50-50 on everything. Like, what? We're married. We're going 100 on everything. 100 of my money, 100 of your money. We put it all together and we're just going 100 on everything. It's not a such thing as a 50-50. Like, well, he only gives me half of the money on the bills, half of his money on the bills, and I only give me. Okay, if that's how y'all bills was set up, my question is, what are you doing with the other half? So, and which is perfectly fine if that's how your bills are set up. But if you making $10,000 a month and the bills are like $5,000, and then your wife is only making $3,000 a month, and then you expect her to give $2,500, and you give $2,500, and then you just jack off the other. Somebody do that math for me. 6,500. Like, you just 7,500. So if somebody jack off, you just gonna jack off the other 7,500. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So that's why I don't understand why when y'all talk about that 50-50, like, that doesn't even exist. Like, if in your household you decide to split those bills, why you would do something like that to say that, I don't know. And I don't want to say what should work, what wouldn't work. If it works for you, it works for you. But understand, gentlemen, if you still making more money, or she is making more money, and you decide to not take that other money and say this is our money as a whole, then that's a problem. That's the real problem. So think about the example I just gave you. If the man, like I said, was making, that much more money, man or female, it doesn't matter who, but let's just give an example for the man. And then y'all went half on it. As a woman, I would be upset because I would look at it as a controlling thing, right? So you got 7,500 extra, and then you expect me to ask you when can I have some of this money, have some of that money. No, you guys are married. So at the end of the day, unless you Jeff Bezos and you got married to somebody else and you ain't signed no prenup, like, Y'all need to figure out how to work that out together. Now, that doesn't mean just because he bringing in 10K and you only bringing in 5K, he need to pay the whole 5,000. But if he chooses to do that, okay, that's fine. But y'all need to have conversations, because what upsets the man who doesn't want to pay for everything is when he does do that, then that woman goes and blows that other 5K. Then that's the issue. But that's a conversation. That's the conversation piece. Like we always stay away from the conversation piece, when the conversation piece is really what's killing black couples. Hands down. The conversation piece is really what killing black couples. What did you say? There is no one fits. There is no one fits in a relationship. Oh, no one fits all in a relationship. Yeah, you're right. There is a no one fits all in a relationship. Everybody's situation is going to be different. Everybody's situation is going to be different. And that's why I said if it works for you, then it works for you. And if it don't, it don't. I haven't seen my own check in about a decade. That's crazy. That is crazy. About how long you've been married too, right? So that's a crazy good thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, we sit here and really be like, man, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. Like a little kid. Y'all remember like y'all be a kid in elementary school? And it's like, we still be on that, like, and don't understand the union aspect when you get married. And it really is a union. And I was on that. Like when I first got married, I literally was like, you got your account, I got my account. We got a bill account. We're going to put just this amount of money in for the bills and put that money in for the bills. And I really thought that was a good way of money management. I really thought that was a good way to handle things, because at the end of the day, when you put your money in, I put my money in, you know, I really had a mentality of, if my wife didn't have some money at the end of the month and she asked me for it, I'm like, what you finna use it for? Like, you had your money, what you waste your money on? That's childish. Like I said, that's childish. I can have a conversation with her and be like, yo, you need to chill out on them Amazons. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, as I've gotten older, I'm like, there's nothing I won't give my wife. I swear to God, there's nothing I won't give. She get my last. She always get it anyway. Like, when I sit back and think about, you just gave life to my legacy. You hold it down in this house, and you 100% support me on everything I do. Like, why would I not give you my all? Now, yes, because I'm a man and I feel I almost definitely know I'm alpha centric. We're gonna have a conversation when you get a little handy, get a little crazy. But now that conversation ain't like, don't be wasting it. That conversation is like, damn, if we really don't got enough money for you to be able to do this and do this, when that really not a lot, then I need to figure out a way to bring in more money. Like, that's what I'm on. You know, it's like, I used to complain about, like, this is all we got, so you need to not do this. And guess what? We wasn't living. We wasn't living. We wasn't having no fun. We wasn't being excited about nothing. Times was terrible. Shit was horrible. And so when I really shifted my mindset to say, you know what, I'm not finna be on here and be like, ridicule you about what we don't have and not spend it. I'm finna figure out how can I get more money so you can have a good time. So I can show you how much I appreciate how you do what you do. What you say? I got a package on my porch every day, B. I still get one. I just got one. I just got 7. So we sat here and talked about the kids' Christmas, and she just asked a couple questions, and really she just wanted to get the okay, and I was hesitant to give the okay, but I did, and I swear to God, in 2 days later, 7 packages just hit the door, and like 5 of them hit at one time. Like one dude was just like blah blah blah. He was just like, I don't know what y'all doing. I was just like, I literally sent Tasha a text and said, yo, I know I said like it's time, but like calm down a little bit. She literally sent a text back and said, okay. She knew she had a small window and she got that shit done in a fast amount of time. And by the time the packages all hit at one time and I started complaining, the damage is done. The damage was over. So, you know, but like we really got to start thinking about that. So I just want to end on having that conversation. If you're scared to talk to your spouse, then why you get married? If you feel like you can't talk to your spouse, then why you get married? Like if you can't say, hey, I held it down, I need some sex. That's a problem. That is a problem. I promise you there's a problem. It's a perfect example. Like my wife went out of town this weekend. She had a somewhat family emergency. So she went back to see her family this weekend. I had the kids this weekend. And I do this every day during the week, so I can toot my own horn. But I'll just give this example for the weekend. So, you know, clothes was a mess. Like dirty clothes hamper was humongous. And I was like, yo, she finna wash these clothes this weekend because, hey, I feel like, I wash them. I just won't fold them. And so anyway, long story short, I was like, well, she going this weekend. She going to be on the road. She going to be traveling. I need to go and get them clothes done this weekend. So I did my thing. I washed the clothes, held it down with the kids, cooked, fed them. She came home today. I had these boneless spare ribs falling off the no bone that wasn't there because they boneless, but they was just falling off of something, the fork, if that. Cooked, two little sides, little yeast rolls. So when she came in off the road, she didn't have to do nothing. Literally, if she came in off the road, she can come in, jump in the tub, and get ready for work next week. But guess what my wife did? Because I did that. She came in, started tending to the kids, and there was some clothes that, like the kids' clothes that needed washing. I'm like, they off for the whole week from school, so I wasn't touching them anyway. She got time to do it, but she came in, jumped right on that, finished that out, put the food up, prepare for the night. So she could have came in on some, oh, he did everything. I don't need to do nothing. We don't do that no more. We don't operate like that. So the communication gap that most men would do is, I would say, if typically when that happens, and then later on that night, if nothing happened between me and my wife, I would get furious. I'd be like, ain't no way I'd have washed these clothes, I done cooked, I'd have done all of this, and we ain't finna get no loving. That's impossible. In my mind, I can't fathom that. Because I done took the weight off your shoulders for the night. So I need that weight on me. And that's when I got out of that mentality of getting upset, I moved into having that conversation. So I used to get mad about that. And I have an attitude. So let's talk about the used to. I would have an attitude tonight. It wouldn't happen because she was still tired from the road trip. I would have an attitude tonight. I would have an attitude tomorrow. When she probably try to do something, I probably still have an attitude from when nothing didn't happen. And then I would let it foster. And then at this point, now she's having an attitude because I got an attitude. So now she don't want to do nothing now, and she ain't in the mood for the rest of the week because I have the audacity to be upset, right? I swear that's how it works. And so now we done went like a whole week, and she cool. Her poker face is better than anybody's I know. So now we done went a whole week. So when the weekend come and we still don't do nothing because everybody mad at everybody, I'm finna blow up. I'm cussing, all kind of stuff going on. Name calling, all of that. People crying. I don't even care. I'm just mean. That was in the past when we was on the brink of saying, let's quit this marriage thing. Now, what happens now? I do those certain things. And if something didn't happen, I would have this conversation. I was, first of all, say, yo, hey, I'm not saying I did all that for some expectations, but I'm just saying you left me short the other night. She might buzz out laughing and she'll say, I got you. But I had that conversation though. You see what I'm saying? Now, we ain't lost the whole week worth of everybody being pissed off for no reason. Because I done sat down and said, hey, look, hey, you all right? You good? I'm just saying. Come back to reality. What you need me to do? You need me to help out? I'll help out now. You a little tired? You need a massage? You need me to run some water? But this is what I need. So you need to tell me what you need. Like, we got to have that conversation. We got to have that conversation. So look, I told y'all I wasn't going to keep y'all long. This is right around the time I want to do. I most definitely want to end with the conversation piece and just say, hey, look, if you can't talk to her, if you can't talk to him, then why y'all married? Y'all got to be able to sit down and say, hey, look, this is what I need from you. And women, you got to be able to sit down and just say, hey, husband, this is what I need from you. I know that you're watching the game from Sunday football from 12 to 6 because you got red zone and you drinking your beer. Then not to be asking them nothing during that time. But when that time go off and you got that little peak period time, you say, hey, can you help me knock these dishes out? Or I cooked dinner for you today, on a Sunday. Hey, I'm gonna leave these dishes like this, but I'm gonna go run me some bath water and just have time to myself. Can you just keep an eye on the kids? And then when you get done with the football game, clean the kitchen up for me. Have that conversation with your husband. I promise you, it'll help out. It'll help you both out. Because sometimes all you gotta do is ask. Now you asking your man and he ain't holding his end of the bargain, then you can do what you want to do. But then, fellas, you got to be able to have that conversation. So when you go to her and say, hey, why you been neglecting me? Oh, because remember that day I asked you to do that for me. You didn't do that. Like, I promise you, just had a conversation. Things will be a hell of a lot easier. Things will be a hell of a lot easier. Yeah, Camp, you got to jump on. Because see, I need you to go back and forth with me. Because I like to hear your intellect. And see, when you get challenged by somebody who intellect may not be as of higher level, but just right there below yours, I like to challenge you. And I like you to keep my head open. But we most definitely gonna have, so Dwayne Kemper, just so y'all guys know, he's gonna be my co-host. We're gonna jump on here and then we're gonna interview married men because we really, 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 really want to know, what y'all thinking. We really want to know the struggles that you're having within your marriage. We really want y'all to be positive about it. We really want y'all to be, this wasn't working for me, but this started working, because you don't understand. If I had somebody talk to me back in 2014 and 13, them wouldn't have been the rough years that I've ever had. Now, yes, I figured it out on my own, but we have so much information now, and a lot of times it's not good information on the web, and we always hearing all this stuff, but we ain't hearing it from the experts. We hearing so much stuff. All this 50-50 argument, all these arguments are taking place by people that ain't even married, talking about what they ain't gonna do when they do finally get married. Some of them people ain't gonna never get married. I hate to tell them that. It is what it is. Y'all ain't gonna never be married. Y'all gonna be miserable by yourselves. Cat men, cat women, whatever. So we need to get this message out there so y'all can start listening from the people that are doing it, and the people that have done it, and the people who have struggled and figured it out, and tell you which way not to step. Because, hey, listen, if you're walking through a landmine, I'd rather you tell me where the fucking the bomb's at. Now, yes, I might could figure it out on my own, and it might take a long time. But if you give me the secret sauce, save me the trouble. That's all I'm asking, and that's all we doing. So, with that being said, we listening to. Oh yes, 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 yes. I don't want to get on that. But listen, with that being said, I ain't gonna hold y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. Y'all have a wonderful Sunday. Y'all go rock it out tomorrow. Be some rock stars. You know what I'm saying? At work, not at work, whatever you do, figure it out. Be some rock stars in your mindset. Figure it out and make life better. Cause we gotta find out a way to extend this race. Cause we hurting right now. We hurting right now. And the only way we can help it, if we can get y'all to love on each other again. That's the only goal. I got to get y'all to love on each other again. If I can get y'all to like that picture behind me, if I can get y'all to love on each other again, all right, we're going to be all right. But we got to stop this hate, though. We got to stop it. Y'all have a beautiful night. Be blessed.